Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Have we got one for you today? Today we're going to be switching out the entire AC unit on this 2021 Alliance fifth wheel. It's a friend of ours. He has 3 ACs on this unit, but the center one keeps giving him a problem. This will be his 3rd one, and it's a 2021. The first 2 were the Coleman Machs, probably that COVID year issue with some of them, but he decided this time to go with a GE profile, the newer one. Not a lot of good reviews on that, and there ain't a lot of information on it either on how to hook this up, like the wiring part of it. I mean, most of us that are attempting this job will probably already know how to put it on the roof, but when it comes to wiring it in, there's only one video online by GE, and their hands are always in the way. They're flashing through it so fast, so it's very hard to see what's going on. So that's the only ones I could find. So I figured I'd try to shoot a video today and see if I could do it better. So we're going to try to get the wiring done. This particular unit he has is a 15,000 BTU. I believe it's 15. Could be 13.5. Either way, they wire the same. It also has the heat pump in it, and this is the unit with the thermostat that controls the furnace. That's also what we have to change in here is the thermostat, because since it's GE, total different everything. We already checked on this unit the thermostat wires. There's at least 6 wires in the wiring thing, because you're going to need at least 6 wires if you're going to change over to this unit. So we checked that already. It has 6 hooked up. Hopefully that's all we need, and then we can get all that hooked up. We don't have to run any wires. But the first thing we got to do is get up on the roof. We want to get our new unit set up on there. Then we'll go inside, take the covers off everything, make sure the power shut off in the breaker. You want to make sure you do that, lock out, tag out, as they say, and then go up there, unhook all the power, unhook the thermostat wires, unhook everything from that area. We'll go up on the roof, pull that unit off, switch the other one out. You guys will see that. We're not going to, I mean, we'll have time lapse or speed through it, us getting it up on the roof, but this ain't really to show you how to get it on the roof. It's up to you how you want to get it up there. You'll see how we're doing it, but of course we're not telling you to do it this way. If you got an easier way or something, definitely do it that way. You're definitely going to want at least 2 guys. 3 would be better. It's just me and my son. We're going to get it up there on the roof. We've done this before, the way we do it, sliding it up the ladder with somebody on top pulling, somebody at the bottom pushing, and we get it up there. This unit, I think, weighs about 100 pounds altogether, so it's not terrible. I mean, I could lift 100 pounds like that for a little bit, so I'm going to do that. So that's what we're going to do for our setup. We're going to put packing blankets on the roof too, right along kind of where we're going to slide it to, because I heard on the GEs on the bottom of the unit, they got some screws that could poke a hole in your roof or mess with your roof. So we don't want that, especially on, it's not our unit. So we'll put the packing blankets down, and that will help protect the surface. It came in the box, like the air conditioner came in a box. We're gonna leave it in the box till we get it up on the roof. That's gonna make it easier to pull up the ladder because it gives you a flat surface. It's gonna put some ratchet straps, you know, one this way, and then one to pull. So you guys will see that. I'm not gonna go too much into it, talking about it. You'll just see us doing it. If you guys got any questions, you can leave them down below, and you know, if we can help you, we'll help you out. But we're gonna get this all set up, then we'll get this thing put up on the roof. All right, guys, we got that box up on the roof. I'm sure you guys seen it there. We'll speed through it. So we just tied the ropes or the straps to it, one pulled, one pushed. So it's up there. Next thing we gotta do is we're inside the rig now. We gotta shut the power off to the AC. Like I said, this one has 3, so we found the breaker it was, and we shut that off down here. So we got that breaker off we need off. Make sure nobody goes near it. You don't want power on. Next thing we gotta do is we gotta remove this cover and then unhook the wires in there. And then there's 4 bolts that go all the way through that hold the unit to the roof. We're gonna have to remove those so the roof unit's ready to be moved. And then we'll clean off the surface with alcohol, put the new one on, come in here and bolt it. You'll see the process, but right now we're going to be taking this cover off so we can get access to everything. So let's do that. All right, we're just taking off these filter units right now, get them out of the way, because what we're gonna need to do is there's bolts for this cover or screws. Most likely on these RVs, they're Andersons, but you can get away with the Phillips, which is what we're doing. There's 4 of them. We're gonna go around and get that. That'll drop this plenum top off cover. So we'll finish that, and then we'll get to the next part. All right, we got that main cover off. Now we're right back to this top one, because this is This particular AC is a ductless unit. So we're just finished popping this off. Get this out of our way. Here you go, some screws here for you. All right, if you guys can see up in here, now this is where we got to make sure, I mean, I got my little meter. I'm going to make sure that there is no power here, but we're just going to be unhooking all these wires. For you, I would take a picture just so you know where the wires were in case you get lost somewhere. It's always good reference to take a picture. This main one unplugs from the box itself, which we could leave in there since we're switching everything out. If you were switching with the same exact unit, you would leave that control box there, well, hanging there, and just take the AC and then use that same control box because they don't come with them. That's also what we got to put in this new one, the new control box for that also. So mainly we want to undo the main power one, which is in that control box, which we can gain access to that from up top. But from down here, we can undo this main plug here off of the control like that. And then this here is just your freeze sensor. We'll unplug that. And then these other two are the power ones for the control box with your thermostat wires. You can see your thermostat wire right here. There's one coming in from the thing. Those will have to be unconnected too. So we're going to get our meter, make sure we check this has no power, and then we can get everything unhooked. All right, we got all our wires unplugged from this control box. They're just hanging down here. No power, we tested them. This is the plug that goes to the AC. That's unplugged also. On this particular, on the Colemans, you could take the control box off. They just got like pushy wire, like wing nuts. We're gonna bring that down, open this up, and we can get the main 120 line off. And now we take these 4 bolts off in each corner. This unit's ready to come off the roof. So what we're gonna do is unhook the power from this right now. So that's why it's ready for our new unit. And then we'll go up, take these off. There's 4 of these, and we'll go up on the roof and pull this unit off, clean the surface, and get ready to put the new one on. So let me get this unhooked. We'll show you that once I get the cover off. All right, we got the cover off of this control box. We got our yellow wire, which is our 120 coming in. We already took this. The newer rigs come with the Wago connectors, which are reusable. They're awesome. But we took the 2 off already. We're just going to flip the levers up. You can see that there. And they come right off. So this will be ready to pull out. Our control box is out. Now we're going to take these off. I'm not sure what size they are. We'll let you know when we figure that out. And then we're going to go up on the roof and pull that off. So here we go. All right, everything's ready. Like I said, we got to take these 4 out. 5/16. And they are long ones because they go all the way up through. When you put these back on, there's a certain torque on these, so don't just reef them down. When we get to that point, we'll tell you what the torque is. And it's not foot-pounds, it's inch-pounds, so. There we go, our ring's off. Now that rooftop unit is ready to be pulled right off its spot. Like I said, we'll clean around it, get our new one ready to pop right back in. It's the same, like, I think it's 14 and a half inch hole. And these same bolt holes you see up here will line up with the new one too. But it's going to be all new rings and everything to hold that in there because all this is different. This ain't going to be the same, totally different unit. So everything's different. The wiring's going to be different. The rings, the covers, the control box, the thermostat, all new. So hopefully we can figure this out together. Let's go. All right, guys, now we're up here on the roof. We got to take this cover off just so we can get to everything, take it off easier. We're not going to be able to strap this, take it down the ladder with the cover on. You'll break the cover. But then again, if your unit's trash, you might not care. But this one appears to have 2 screws to get the cover off. And there might be some in the back here. Yep, we have on this particular one, this is the Mach, Coleman Mach Q. So on the bottom, there's 2 screws on the bottom also. We're going to pull those off. Now we can take our cover off of here, set that to the side. It's a little windy, so we got to be careful it doesn't take off on us. And here we have our unit. It's ready to come off the roof because we did everything inside. If we didn't take the control box off, inside of here would be, you'd have to open this up to get to that control box and the unhook stuff. But we could do everything from below, so we're just going to be lifting this off. We'll set you guys up on a tripod or something, move this out of the way, clean the roof, get our new one opened up and set in position. We want to at least get that watertight in case something goes on with the wiring or something. We'll at least have it watertight. All right, now we're just ready to lift this up. We're just going to lift it and set it right here so it's on the blanket. Then we'll find a way to get it down the ladder, probably with the same box we take the new one out of. It's just going to be easier to have something smooth to slide it down the ladder. But get your partner to come in and help you move this. Like I said, we're disconnected now, so we're just going to rock it up a little. There you go. You can hear the seal break free. Don't fall in the hole. Walk, well, this ladder over here. All right, set her down. Here we go. We got it moved out of the way. It's not that bad. Like I said, it's not that heavy, just a little more awkward. And if you notice, we got a lot of leaves under here. This is the part I was saying we got to clean up. We did bring our blower. We're going to blow this area off so we got a nice clean area. And then we'll use our alcohol to clean this. Even though this is perfectly clean, we're going to clean it a little better so it sticks. Go ahead, blow it up. There we go. We got it blown off. And on the new one also, you can see, like, on, I don't know if you guys can see the bottom, but on the bottom here, there's pads on the bottom for leveling. You'll see the clean spots. The new one has those also, but they might not be in that spot. So that's why we're going to clean this area, just so we have a nice clean area for the new one to set down. Alrighty, we got our area cleaned off nicely. So now we're going to unstrap this box with all the straps we used to get it up here on the roof. Take the cover off, get our new unit out, and get it set into place. Remember, I noted in the beginning that they say on the bottom of these units there's some screws that stick out. We want to be careful we don't poke the roofing with the screws. So one reason we had the packing blanket, and another reason the boxes are up here with it. So we're just going to get this unstrapped. Let's lift it up. What's the bottom look like? Is there any screws sticking out? Yeah, there's some screws under here. I don't know if you guys can see them. You can see these sharp screws. They will get to where you don't want them. So here's our opening. We're going to line that up with this opening. And this is the rounded part of your AC faces the front of your fifth wheel or your trailer. So this part's going to aim that way. We already had it in position that way. So we're going to move this box, set this down on the blanket, and then get it ready to be put in the spot. Yeah. Now we are going to leave this, they got the protective film over this cover. We're going to leave it on it for right now. And just to, we shouldn't have to do much in this top piece. Everything else is going to be done inside with all your connections, your control box. On the GEs, it's kind of sits up in there and blocks like your view in the center. You'll see that when we get to it, but that's how the GEs go. So we're going to get this into position. We pretty much want to align that opening to this opening. The pads are going to sit where they do. That's just how it works. So we're just got to get the opening set up. So here we go. Okay, we are ready to set this on here. We moved it down a little bit to line the seals up. Sounds a little better. We got a different dead cat for here, but we're going to set this over the hole. One person's going to go down below and make sure it's centered, because we can't see it once it's there. That way the 4 holes that we're going to need are visible and about equal. Then it's centered. We can do everything else from below pretty much. So we're going to get this set in here. Yep, just slide it over this way. Then pay attention to our opening here, so we need to come my way a little.
Yeah.
We need this to stay in here. Okay, are we about lined up to the...
Close.
All right, go ahead. All right, it is placed on there, roughly in the position. He's going down below, going to tell us if we're centered, what we need to do from up here. Then we'll go down below, get the rest of the brackets and everything on, so we can get that torque down. It takes 35 inch-pounds, plus or minus 5, somewhere around there. Well, 30, 35. I'm going to do mine at 35 inch-pounds. That should seal it up, what it requires. And then we can put in our control board, change the thermostat, all that good stuff. All right, now that we have that set up there and roughly centered, we need to find the mounting template, which comes in this kit, which you have to buy separately. We'll leave numbers to all this stuff down below, because you're going to need the control box, the thermostat, the like the sealing kit for the mounting stuff, all that stuff. So first thing we need to find is this right here. All right, now the next is going to be our mounting template we're putting up in here. That's going to take the 4 big bolts that come in the kit. We're going to put those in. We put 2 in here just to hold it. You'll know which way this goes because there's a gasket on this end, which is going to seal around the cover once it goes on. So you want that longest hole facing the front of your RV. And then we're just going to commence to putting, I need more light. We're going to commence to putting more bolts in, these other 2 bolts, and then we're going to torque them down. We'll show you that when we get to it. So you're just going to put it up through the hole. Line it up in there. I'm not sure if you guys can see up in there. And just screw it in like that. Get them all started. Then we'll zip them up with the impact just to get them close. Then we'll torque them down, like I said, to 35 inch-pounds, which we have that here with us to torque that down. So let me get these snugged up and then we'll torque them down. All right, we got them snugged up with our impact. It's a 10mm socket for you guys. Then we got our inch-pound wrench, torque wrench. We're just going to torque them down 35 inch-pounds. That'll help compress your seal, stop it from leaking. Okay, we are finishing tightening up the last 2 35 inch-pounds. It's clicking over. You can hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's clicking over. Slow.
Cranking the mic.
It's okay. Go slow so you can feel when it breaks over. That's it, yeah. There we go. So we have those torqued on. Now we're going to go on to the next step. All right, we got that mounting template on. You've seen that. We torqued it down. Now we got to get our control box up in there. It pretty much only goes one way. On the side of your control box, there's going to be, see if I can get a light up in there for you guys. You'll see the wire retainer here, like the pinch clamp that pinches your wires. You're going to want that on the one side where your power wires are. So that's going to be on the, if you're standing facing the front of your rig, it's going to be on the left. You want to make sure that's over there. And then you're going to mount this control box up in there. It's going to kind of go up in and sit. You can see it went up in at an angle, then we sat it, and then we line up these 2 holes. We're going to put our last screw in here. So let me get that going. We'll get our last screw up in there. There we go, we got that box mounted. Now what you're going to do, because everything else is access inside that box. So we're going to need to take, there's 3 screws. I already took a couple out. There's one here, and one here. You take all 3 of those out, your box is going to swing down and give you access to the mess that's inside. I'll get you guys some more light. You can see the mess that's in here. There's wires everywhere. This is the challenge because the wiring for this is not very good. And like I said, you go online to their website, you can get a little bit of colored if you print that part out of their manual. It'll help you out a little, but you can see it all. We're going to be pulling all this off. Some of it just plugs into the board over here. We'll show you close-ups of that when we get to it. These are the wires that drop down out of the air conditioner. You can see the plug ends on those. They're just going to plug onto the board. This just plugs on into the board right here. But you're going to want to do that last after you get your power in. We'll get to that. But we're going to get this stuff organized a little bit, and then we'll go to the next step before wiring that in there. All right, our next step is we're going to take the old thermostat off the wall. On these XL Air Coleman Mach ones, there's a little tab up here. You're just going to push that in. You'll see it up here. Just push that in and lift up. Your old thermostat will come out. That's all the wire we have. And there's 6 wire connections on the back. You're going to want to take a picture of this. Make sure you have that so you can reference it if you needed to. Now we're just going to pull these out of this thermostat because we're going to be mounting our new digital one on here. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to pull these out and then we'll get to the next one. All right, we got all our wires pulled out. We did make sure we took a picture of everything. To pull these wires out, there's these little tabs along here. You're just going to press those down and pull your wire out. That'll release your wire so it comes out easy for you. Now we're going to be wiring up our new digital thermostat with these same wires. That's why I said before you do this job, you want to make sure you have at least 6 wires. This one does, so we should be set and ready to go. Let's go get the new one. Okay, our next step is to take the old mounting template off, or the old mounting bracket off the wall. And you know, with these RVs, they're not into anything. It's just a thin little wall. We're going to pull this off. You can see that. We can reuse these same screws to mount this. We're just going to put this on the wall. The note for you guys. When this comes, it comes together. On the bottom, there's 2 tabs. You're just going to push something up through the tabs, and then you can pull this off of the thermostat itself. Sorry, I should have showed you guys that, but that's how that goes. There we go. Now, we're going to mount it on here. Unfortunately, we're going to have the hole that's there because they don't make it line up to the hole. So we'll try to get it as close to blocking as we can. It's going to have to be something like this probably, so we have something to screw into. We're going to reuse the same screws that came with the, or that were in the old thermostat. Still only 2 screws. Okay, go ahead. All right, we got one in. If you're using impact like I am, just be careful because you'll strip them out in a minute. I'll get that as close to the level as you can get it. Drop your screw a couple. All right, down to our last screw here. Okay, we are mounted. Looks good. We have our wires coming through. So now we're probably pretty much ready to put that other thermostat on. So let's run and get that. All right, guys, we are over here. I had to get my glasses. I'm getting older, I guess. Can't see up close. But on the back of your thermostat, there's dip switches. You're gonna have to flip depending on your situation. Here's the book, what it shows for you. It can tell you if your heat pump, AC only, furnace, no furnace. I printed this out. This is that sheet I was telling you about online. It's a little more colors, so you can see it, have the colors match. But this particular unit is supposed to have a heat pump, so we're going to flip that dip switch up into heat pump position, and it does have the furnace, and it's already in that position. So the only one we got to flip up is that first one, and we did that. Next, for hookup on here, you can see it's only going to be 3 wires on the thermostat at that one part here. We're gonna have the 0 to 12 volt, which is your black wire. Then you got your yellow wire and your red wire. That's giving power to the thermostat. That's what we're trying to do there. Well, we are back. It is a new day from the first part you've seen. Of the first half of this view, it'll look like nothing, but we had an issue with the thermostat. The one we got arrived defective, so we had to get another one. Here's the new one. We got to get this mounted on the wall the first thing. One thing to note is when you're watching the video that they give you for the install for the GE air conditioners, or you're looking at the literature they send, the installation instructions, it's very vague. And if you call them, they're no help at all. I tried. They have no other literature, no other anything to help you. Tech support can help me or nothing. So you're on your own when you're trying to figure it out, or watch my video, because I didn't see any other video on here showing you how to wire this in. When it shows you in the video, it shows you pulling 6 wires to your thermostat location. And then on theirs, it shows pulling 6 to that location. Then in the next frame, it shows 9 wires. You're like, where did them other 3 wires come from? But in reality, if you're going from a setup like ours, if you're going from a Coleman Mach to a GE profile, then you're only going to need 3 wires at the thermostat. Just those 3 is all. Everything else is done up in the control box. So that's what we're going to do right now, is we're going to mount this, join the 3 wires on there. And on our paper right here, you can see these are the 3 wires we're joining up to the thermostat. They're going to be the green, the yellow, and the blue. And since we have 3 extra wires in our wire loop, we're just going to wrap those around the thing and tape it in case any future projects they're needed. But we're just going to hook these 3 up, and then you can see, you can follow them up here. They also hook up, this is in the control board, in the ceiling control. They're going to hook to those wires in the corresponding colors of, well, the green will go to the red and white, the yellow will go to yellow, and blue will go to the black and white. So that's what we're doing right now. Let's go hang this on the wall. All right, over here at the thermostat, the 3 wires we're not going to be using in this setup. We're just going to cut the ends off so they're not live ends. Even though up in the control box they won't be connected to anything anyway, but we're going to cut them off. Then we're going to take those 3, just wrap them around the cord like so, in case there's any future projects, in case you decide you made a mistake from the GE and want to go back to Coleman, the wires will be there for you. And then we're just going to tape them to there, just keep them protected in the wall. And then we're just going to have our 3 that go to the thermostat. You're going to need a mini screwdriver when you hook those into the thermostat, because they are some small screws. So let me get this taped up, and then we'll get those screwed into the back of that thermostat. All right, we got our wires taped up. We're just mounting our backing plate onto the wall. And of course, we already have the holes there because we did it the last time before we noticed it was messed up. This is where you might want to bring a level in if you're that worried about it. Looks pretty good to me. Next, we're going to hook, you can see on here, this is where the 3 wires go into here. And on the back here, you got 3 little screws. So you're going to want a small little screwdriver. Hope you guys can see that. That's going to put the wires in there. And then you just refer to your paperwork. That part's right on the, that they give you. That one I printed out off of their website, and it's in color. In the book, it's not. So just refer to the color of the wires, and you'll be set and ready to go. All right, when you're facing, when you have your thermostat in your hand facing down, it's going to be green in this one, yellow in the middle, and blue in the end. So we're going to start with our green one in here. We're going to get it shoved in there like so, and then we'll tighten it down. Now we're on to our yellow one, which goes in the middle. Put that in and hold it. Get that one tightened down. Well, actually, we're going to shorten that one. That one all the way in still exposes a lot of wire. So we don't want them too long, so we're just going to clip that off a little bit. Just a little. Put that in the spot. I know my hands are in your way, but I'll show you when I'm done here, unlike the video they made. There you go. Our green and yellow are in. We give them a slight tug. Now the blue one, same thing over here. We're going to have to trim a little off of that one. Put the blue one in. That'll be all we have to do at the thermostat. The rest is up in the box. There we go. That's all our connections made there. Now you want to feed your wires back into the wall nicely. And then to put this unit back on, you got to be careful with that. There's tabs up at the top right here. You're going to want to put it onto the tabs like so, and then you're going to want to push the bottom on. That's it. So we are mounted right there. Next, what we got to do is go up in that box and do the rest of the connections up there. Of course, the 3 wires we did here will correspond with some wires up there. Plus the other connections they were talking about with 6 wires will be done up there. Especially if you have a thermostat or a heat pump, there's some extra wiring. We're going to do all that up there. So let's get up there and see what we got. Okay, the first thing we're going to do up there is plug in the thermistor wires. You might only have one. It depends if you have AC or heat pump or both. But we have both, so we're going to be plugging 2 of them in. I'll show you that when we get up there. But this is the section of the board that we're going to be doing. So let me go up there and show you the corresponding spot. Okay, now up here on the board, you can see the 2 spots right here. See if I can clear all these wires out of the way. There's this one spot here and one spot above it. And that's going to take our 2 thermistor wires right here. You'll see those. They plug right on the board. They go only go in one spot because one has more wires than the other. So that's what we're plugging in right now. All right, this one's going in right up here. Like I said, they only go in the certain spot. Get that one in, then we'll do this other one. Get that one hooked in. Same thing, this one's smaller. So those ones are hooked in. We're fine right there. You'll see there's a mass of wires here, but once you get them deciphered what they go to, you'll know. And then on the wires that go in the unit, they're marked. They have stickers here to tell you what each one is. So if you're trying to refer to that, don't worry about it. It has it labeled there. The hardest part is knowing what your wires go to. Because like I said, the thermostat has 6 wires. We're not going to be using all 6 of those. We're only using 3. And then we're using the other wires to hook into everything else. So let's get this cleaned up a little bit, and then we'll go to the next set of wires. All right, the next wires we're going to hook up are the wires that come from our thermostat. We're going to hook them up to the 3 wires up in the control box. Now on the control box, or in the control box, you'll have, remember, the yellow, the blue, I'll show you on this one, the yellow, the blue, and the green. So that's, don't pay attention to these colors because obviously they don't work the same. But we're going to be hooking up the yellow, blue, and green wire that come off for these ones right here. Yellow, or they show it as red, yellow, and black. But we're going to hook them into our ones that went into the thermostat. That's the ones we're going to do right now. Just remember, like I showed you on previously, make sure you put your dip switch where you need it, because you're going to want that in. If you have heat pump, you want it up there. If you have no furnace, you're going to want that up. For us, we have it up in heat pump, and we have it down in furnace. So these 3 down, that one up for us. But make sure you check that before you wrap everything up. Like we showed you on the paper, these are the 3 wires that are from the control box that are going to hook into your corresponding thermostat wires. You can see the black, the red, and the yellow. Refer to the paper, tell you what color goes where, but we will be showing you. So our wires that came out off the old unit have the spade connectors on. We're going to be cutting those off since we're putting them in the Wago connectors. They don't hook into the same way into the control board as they did on the the Coleman. So we're just going to cut them off and then strip them back. That was the yellow, the green, and then the blue is up here, which is a negative. That's why it's with the negative wires up there, which we'll be cutting those back too at some point. Then we're just going to take those three we just cut. We're going to strip those back a little bit. Like I said, we're going to use the Wago connectors for these. Wagos, however you want to say it. That one took a lot, but we got it off. I mean, I'll leave links to these tools and stuff we're using down below if it, I mean, some of them do make the job easier, like the strippers and stuff, but all right, we got these all three stripped right here. We're going to hook those into the corresponding wires here. You'll know where they go. Like I said, each one has its own corresponding color, so that's what we're going to hook up next. We got a little too much on that one, so let me get my Wagos and we will hook those up. Okay, now we're going to use our Wagos. I'm sure you guys seen these before. They're the lever lock type. They work great. A lot of the RVs are going with these anyway. So we're going to take our green wire out of the thermostat, lock that in. Good connection. And that's going to go with our red one from the control box.
Red with the white tracer.
Yeah, red with the white tracer. I mean, it's hard to see the white tracer, but that's that one. Get another one of our Wagos. The yellow is going to go with the yellow, which is the communication wire. So we're just going to join that Wago, or join that one in there. Give it a tug. And then of course your last one is going to be the black one, which is the negative, is going to go with your blue wire. I know it'd be nice if the colors match, but they just don't. So we're just going to hook that in. And that's our last connection there to connect the thermostat to everything. So that is connected at this moment. Now remember, those other wires that come out of this thermostat are not needed. So we're going to wrap those around there and tape them up like we did at the thermostat and get those out of our way. And then we'll go on to the last few connections. All right, we got those three wires wrapped around there. Now we're just taping them up like we did behind the thermostat, because obviously on this setup, they're not used. All the other connections are done up here in the box because we have the wires ran here for like the furnace and all that. So it's nice to get them clean and out of our way. There you go. That's the last ones that have to do with that section. So we'll set these aside. This one here, you're going to plug into the, I don't know if you guys can see it. There's that spot on here. It's only one spot for that. That'll plug in there in a few. But right now we're going to go to the last few connections here. You'll see them all. They're going to hook into the other wires to do with the power and to the furnace and stuff like that. So let's get on to that. All right, the next one we're on to is the one coming off the control board, which is the black with white tracer. That's the 12 volt negative. So it shows it coming over here hooking into a black wire for blue, but that for us it's not going to be that way. Our 12 volt negative, you can see this is a picture of ours, the Coleman. These white ones coming up with the white and red are the negative. So we're going to hook into those two. You'll see them up there. We're going to hook that black with white tracer into those. So let's do that. All right, these are the negatives on our original setup with the Coleman. We're going to cut that butt connector or that spade connector off because we are not needing that. And then we're going to strip those back like so. And then we'll hook those with the black one that comes out of the control box. And that's a negative. And we're using the Wagos again. And we have a 3-position Wago. It has 3 positions, so we're going to use that. They're each going to get a spot. What's cool about these, you can look on the back and it'll show you, you know, if you got the wire in all the way. So you're not making that mistake. There we go. We got all 3 of those hooked in. Now we're going to go on to the next one, which will probably be the 12 volt positive, which is right here. You see these are going to be the original ones, which were the red, white with a red tracer on them. That's the 12 volt positive. And that's going to go with the red wire here, which is marked 12 volt supply. So we're going to hook those together. So we're going to take this Wago off. We're going to have to switch it out with those thumb together. We're going to switch those out with a 3-position as well. And there's also a guide on these that will tell you how much wire to trim back. Like these are a little too long, so I'm going to trim those back and we'll get those hooked in there. All right, the last set of wires we're doing are the blue ones that are for the furnace relay. Now, it doesn't matter which one you put where because they're backwards compatible. It says anyway in their videos, so that's what we're going by because they're not marked any different. It's a blue with a white tracer. One for us is going to go to the power, 12 volt power, which will tap into the one we already did, and then one is going to go to the white furnace wire, which on our Coleman is its own wire. I marked it furnace. It's its own wire. It's this white one here that goes to the furnace. So that's where the other blue one will go to. So let's get up here in the control box and get it set up. All right, first we want to take one of these blues and give it to this power section. So since we only have a 3-position waggle, we're just going to join it with this one red wire. Like here, because you can add them. There's enough room in there. These are small enough wires. I mean, if you had fatter wires, you'd have to use maybe like a 5-position. They have a 5-position one. I haven't seen the 4s yet, but whatever. We'll put that in, close that in. That connection's done. Next, we're going to take this one and join it with this white one, which already has a waggle on it. So that'll be easy connection there. Make sure we want all the strands in there. Put that in, flip our lever. So those little ones are done. Next, we're going to plug in the big one, but we want to make sure we also got to feed in our power, our 12 volt power. Make sure you got your breaker off. You don't want to get juiced on these. So we're going to put it through the strain relief on here. We got to loosen this one up. It's pretty tight. We're going to feed it in, and then we're going to make those connections with these, the fat wires in there, the white, black, and green. That's where they're going to go. We're probably going to use wire nuts for these, and then we'll tape them so they don't come loose if you're vibrating around. So let me loosen this up and get the wire put in. All right, now we're joining our main power. The white one coming off the control board obviously goes with the white one in your power. Like I said, we're using wire nuts on this setup, and then we're going to tape them in the direction of the way we spin it. Get those on there. Make sure you use the right size wire nut, also known as Marrettes. I don't know. Don't ask me. All right, black's going to go with black, and then, of course, you're going to use the green, which will go with your bare copper. So we're just going to continue on joining those, and then we'll go on to plugging in that plug and zipping everything up. All right, we got all our wires in there pushed out of the way so we can fit this plug up into there. That's our last step we got to do. But before I do that, I want to give you a recap of what these wires were. The one that has the 4 here are the power wires, the 12 volt positive. So on your original unit, if you had the Coleman, it's going to be the red with white. Them are power. And then these two, one's to the furnace and one is to the board for 12 volt positive. You're going to have those there. Next is your 12 volt negatives. You're going to have the 2 that come from these 2 white ones here are your originals. At least on this setup, if you're going from a Dometic or something, they might be different colors. That's going to go to the black one off the board, which is your DC negative. Now we come over here, you got your 3 connections which come from your thermostat. Your green, your yellow, and your blue. Which one is positive, negative, and then communication. So those are in. You got your thermistors plugged into the board. And I think that's it. You're gonna have these 2 yellow ones left over. This is for Gen, it says Gen Start or something. We don't have nothing that needs that, so we don't have that there. So that's everything connected. Next thing we want to do is get all these stuffed into this little relief here. We already put our wire through and tightened the strain relief there. So that's tight and that's ready to go. You just want to push these in to give you enough room to fit this up in there. So that's what we're going to do next. Get these all tidy. Before we put the plenum cover and all that stuff on, we're going to test the system, make sure everything's working, because you don't want to have to take all that back off. There's also the wiring diagram up on the ceiling there that's inside the box. If you get lost, you want to look into that a little bit. It'll show you what you can do there. So, and it looks like, I mean, on here it'll show you that in the directions, but it shows this little connection, which you would think like you can hook all 6 wires in like from the thermostat. But that's not how this one works. They already have wires coming off for it. So that's the way we did it according to what they were telling us to do. So let's take this last step of plugging this thing in. I'll try to do it one-handed here. It is specific which way it goes in. It's got the rounded plug, so it needs to go in something like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this one-handed. Ain't even at this shot for you guys. Anyway, you get the picture. This one's gonna plug into there. And that'll be the last step. Then we're going to fold this up. So let me put that up in there. All right, we got it all buttoned up. Next thing we got to do is go to our fuse box, flip the breaker, and then our thermostat should light up. So you guys watch that. I'll click the breaker on. We should be in business. Breaker is on. First thing we're going to check is the AC. So we're going to turn this to mode AC cool. Whoops, we passed it. Cool, fan, auto. Auto does it. Oh, there it goes. Nice. Give that a minute, and it should click on the compressor. Actually, we know it will because we tested all this already. So all of it works. Our AC works, our heat pump works, and our furnace works because they all work on the same thermostat. One thing that we're not sure we'll have to look into is if you look on the thermostat, it shows for fan speed 1 and 2. There isn't a third one. It doesn't even let us select a third one. When you go to fan, you can see 1 and 2. Then 2, it doesn't even give us a selection for third. All the wires are hooked up like they're supposed to be, so I'm not sure because the number 2 sounds just as strong as the other ones on high. So maybe that's how it's supposed to work because it's blowing hard. And then, yep, it's cold already, so it's working great. Let me get this cover buttoned up. We'll show you how to do that because this one's a little tricky. On this cover, on the old Coleman, you had 4 spots that would hook into the bracket, but this one has, you're gonna see like 2 holes here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. Kind of a pain in the butt, but there's supposed to be a way to, I don't know, there's supposed to be a couple other ones you can get to behind I think behind the screen. Yeah, I see them. Right here and right here. That's gonna center you because this has to seal around that foam that's up there on the plenum. So this here will seal around that. So let's get this set up there and see if we can find the screws that go in there. Okay, our last step in this process is to put the cover on. This one works different than our Coleman's. The Coleman's had screws that went into the mounting template. This doesn't. So what you're gonna do, it has up in the vents here on the side. See if we can get you up in there. Let me get a different light here. You can see this, we put 1 screw up in there. Can you see it? There's 2 there, 2 back here, 2 in the front, and 2 on this side. So you're putting 8 in total, and that's the only way it mounts. It doesn't mount to the template at all. So how you center it is when you put this on here, your intake, you take your filter off, and then you'll press it up against the gasket because there's a gasket on there, and that centers you. That's kind of your intake. Here's your part where it blows out, and you can adjust these if you want them to blow out too, so you get some air. So we're gonna finish putting these screws in. They are up in there a ways, so one of these longer Phillips bits or an extension, you're gonna want that to get up in there. So we're just gonna continue on, put the rest of these in, and that should be a job well done. All right, the last thing we wanted to do was put our filter back on. So that is on. We have these side dumps open, like a couple of them. If you want these to blow, you're gonna wanna close that main one right there. But if you don't wanna use these, you can open the main one, see? You can open that one if you want it to just dump straight down. That's up to you, but it is complete. Well, there you have it, guys. The complete install of the GE Profile AC with heat pump. So it was a challenging job with all the information out there. GE puts out a couple videos, but they're not helpful hardly at all. They talk about needing 6 wires, and then the next frame they show 7 or 9 wires, and then you're wondering where the 9 wire or the other 3 wires came from. They tell you what wires go to what, but at the same time they're doing different color wires, so you kind of get confused there. But if you are going from the GE to from the Coleman to the GE, you're only going to need 3 wires at the thermostat. Everything else is controlled up in the control box on the GE, which is a pain. There's a lot of wires up there and it gets confusing. And then you'll have those 2 yellow wires. Unless you have the gen set or whatever it says it's set for, you won't need those, but they are there for you if you do. But most people aren't going to need those. Ours did have the heat pump, it controls the furnace, and it's the AC. So don't forget the dip switches on the back of your thermostat if you have that same kind of setup. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions on that or you need some help installing yours, just give us a shout down below. We'll try to get to them as fast as we can, especially on that, because I know you're trying to get it installed. You don't want to wait too long, and there ain't much information out there, because I did contact GE and they were no help whatsoever. They had no other literature on it. They didn't have a wiring diagram. They didn't have no other videos. Tech support couldn't help me or nothing. So they're not very familiar with their products at all, especially the AC products for the RVs. Maybe their refrigerators, but not their AC. So we figured it out ourselves by following all the diagrams with all the wires and figuring out what wires on this unit go to what, and then figuring out what wires here had to go where. And then we drew up our old, took a picture of our old one and kind of labeled the wires. That's what you guys might have to do. We thought we were going to need some extra wire for the thermostat because we needed to make some jumps in there, but they were just long enough for us. But if you guys are needing some thermostat wire, this is 6-wire thermostat wire. We'll leave a link to it down below. We're going to probably return this one. And then next time, if we need it, we can order it again. But we'll leave links for that for you guys. And we'll leave links to the Wagos, the wire nuts, and all the tools we use, everything that makes the job a little easier. There's a few tools you'll probably have if you're thinking about attempting this job, like your voltmeter, a few things you're going to have. So with that being said, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching. Remember, those are affiliate links, so they help support the channel. So just click through your normal shopping. No extra cost to you. They help us out a lot. I want to make sure I mention that. And also, if you haven't had a chance to yet, please click the subscribe button so you can follow what we're doing. We do a bunch of everything. That's why our channel is a little bit of everything. You never know what we're doing at the time. Hopefully some of these videos are valuable to you and they help. And it warrants a click on that button. Until next time, guys, we want to thank you for watching and try something new.